I'd like to ask now, is there anybody in the room this evening who is a veteran? You, sir? I see a few hands going up. I'd like to dedicate this next song to all the veterans in the room. I wrote this on Memorial Day a couple of years ago when we're thinking about veterans, women and men who serve, are serving or will serve, have served. So the story behind this particular song comes from the First World War, what we call in England the Great War, the war that was supposed to end all wars. Well, what a joke that's become. An entire generation of our best young men was sacrificed. And it's a sort of open sore in English popular memory, a great waste of human life and resources. Anyway, the story was that I read this particular story in a book that I was happened to be reading about the First World War, and decided to include it in my album For the People, which is English folk stories, as you may remember, based on English folk stories. But this is actually a true story. And what happened was there's a pub north of London called the Bricklayers Arms. If you go to this pub, look up at the ceiling, you will see some nail holes and also some silver coins nailed to the beam of the pub. So you ask the landlord, what are those silver coins doing in the ceiling of your pub? And he will tell you the story, which was that in August of 1914, on the eve of the First World War, after war had been declared, and all the troop ships were about to depart for France, the young men of that village went down to their local pub for a last drink with their wives, family members, sweethearts, friends, and each man produced from his pocket a florin, which was an English coin worth about 10 pennies, quite a lot of money in those days. And they said, here's a florin, we're going to nail it to the ceiling, the beam here, of our favourite pub. And when we come home at Christmas, then when the war is over, because of course all wars are over at Christmas, aren't they? We'll reclaim our florin and we'll buy drinks for everybody in the house. So that's what they did. So 110 years later, you look up and you see those nail holes there. They represent all the young men who did come home, indeed, to reclaim their florin from the ceiling of the pub. But there are 25 silver coins still waiting for their young men, and they never did come home from the fields of Flanders. That is their war memorial, those silver coins nailed to the ceiling of the pub. I thought that's a great story. I must steal it. So wrote a song based upon it. So once again, this is for all men and women who have served, are serving, will serve. This is called a florin to the beam. A florin is an English coin worth about 10 pennies. A florin to the beam. Drink up and dry your eyes, nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. Promise me that you'll remember me, and every letter that you send to me. This war will never make an end of me, as long as you are still a friend to me. Drink up and dry your eyes, nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. See your eyes again, that coin will be the one you never spend. No black ring notice in the times for me, one silver penny will do fine for me. Drink up and dry your eyes, nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. We'll have a high old time, wait and see.